All right, Kim, let's talk a little bit shop. You're a
Sure.
3DIQ user. You've been with us for multiple years.
hmm
Get Give me the good and bad.
Yeah, absolutely. People always say like, what's the game changer tech thing on your desk? And I'm part of the Pinnacle Society, which is the top 80 recruiters in the country, which is obviously something I'm very proud of. And I'm part of the tech committee there, and we do a lot of tech talk. We
Yeah.
talk about a lot of programs and whatnot. And I think the area that the need that you've met is unique first, obviously. Second, I think it's something that recruiters miss out on adding value there, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that always drove me crazy was we would spend time typing a presentation, we would send it over to the client, we'd put our header on the resume,
Mhm.
and they were printing that resume and handing it to somebody. And the information that we put together never made it to the people that mattered. And we'd get three interviews deep, and somebody would say, well, what are they looking for from a salary perspective?
Yeah.
And you tell them, and they're like, well, we can't pay that. Well, why were you interviewing? Well, I didn't know what they needed. So, okay, so that's one thing. So, obviously that was a big obstacle. Second, when you add a header with your language and everything to a resume, it messes up the font a lot of
Yeah.
times or the formatting. So I would go back and quality check some of the things that were going out. And I was mortified that the formatting wasn't corrected or that we were making someone's resume look like that. So areas like that, we found 3D IQ, implemented it, and having the ability to take a resume, not only the resume, but your presentation, not only the presentation, but our internal notes
Yep.
that we need, and put that into one format. Have our branding on there so we don't have to worry if somebody puts the resume somewhere, everybody knows where it came from. Our contact information all in one centralized location. That alone sold me. And then to learn that by a click of a button, I was going to get clean documentation in my system. I was not only going to get a presentation in my system, I was going to get the notes that the recruiter put in there. And then it was going to provide a link. So no more messing with attachments, no more worrying if somebody has a PDF or a Word doc and can somebody
Mhm.
open it on their phone. And then on top of that, they would have to reach back out to me to let me know if they were interested. So 3D IQ, just in that, multiple things. So now I can send a resume. The internal notes are not visible to the end user, they're only visible to us. Presentation is, if I catch a mistake, I can go into the 3D IQ system, change the presentation, click save. And when that client clicks that link, they never know I made a mistake.
Yeah.
It holds its integrity in that email. It's documenting in the system, which is so important. And it's also letting me know when people open the resume.
That's
Like, what a
always good.
game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so, for example, one of the things that we noticed is that, sometimes clients put a job on hold. And when they go to reopen it, the first thing they do is go back and look at the candidates that were
Yep.
on hold. I can't tell you the number of jobs we filled by knowing that someone was opening the candidates from a previous search and me picking up the phone and just waiting a few hours so it's not too creepy.
Yeah.
I was saying, hey, I was wondering if you're going to reopen
Yeah.
that search,
I saw you clicked on our resume, and
Yeah, yeah,
but that's money. That's
that
money we
is
were missing.
money. A
Yeah.
100%. I'm actually engaged on a search now that was over a year old. That's how I ended up back on the search. And then the documentation piece. We know salespeople are notoriously awful at documentation. We just want to do what we do. So I constantly had kind of a little inner struggle here where, Jane would send a candidate 2 weeks later, John would go to send them, and there were no notes in the system. And John was embarrassed asking the candidates the same thing over and over again. Not only does it not look good from a consistency standpoint, but it's time consuming. We want to be able to move faster, all of those things. My recruiters can actually collaborate with one another on candidates now. because the documentation is there. And what better way to build a team than have people work synergistically together with real data that they've
Yeah.
recorded?
And now,
So yeah, it's been a game changer.
and recruiters are a lot, I don't know if you're still in the office, but this work
Yeah,
from home recruiter and being
yeah,
able to communicate that we kind of came in right when all this was happening. So
right.
it that team is huge, and being able to type in notes and internally communicate that stays within the system is
Absolutely.
now you're
Absolutely. Yes. We do have some that are remote. We have some that are hybrid, a variety of different schedules, and it's definitely helpful from that end.
we early on with 3D IQ, I was always uh, just very fanatic about my brand. I
Hmm.
wanted to set myself apart from the
Sure.
competitors. And if all the competitors were sending pieces of paper with logos on it, what makes us different? Because, we're charging, 15, 20 grand for these people, these
Right.
engineers. And I always had, man, you just sent me a piece of paper with it,
Right.
and so now we say we're using a lot of tech that's, we want to make it easier for our clients to give us
Yeah.
feedback,
Yeah.
not make it harder. Less clicks. They can just,
Yeah.
we're all out here to make money, and feedback is where the money's made.
Absolutely. And, there's something to be said for, if you think about what we do, right? You're sitting at your desk, and in your mind, all that client has to do is look at your candidates. Like, that's how recruiters think. Why haven't they gotten back to me? It's been an hour. They have a whole job that they do.
Yeah.
Interviewing candidates is such a small part. So a lot of times that feedback is done in the evenings at the soccer field, watching TV. And if they can give me feedback through a quick form that loads, is interactive right on their phone. And then I get not only their feedback as to why they like them, but their availability and their email address. I don't even have to bother them the next morning. I just get it on their calendar.
We One of the best things when I talk to Tim, we know the best day of the week, the best time of week to get
Mhm.
feedback, and it's Tuesday at two
Yep.
o'clock.
I know
Is
he sent me that. It's so funny, right?
Yeah, it's like Tuesday at 2. If
Yeah,
you have a hot resume, send it at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and you'll get feedback.
so funny. Yeah, it's so funny. And the highest day for applicants to apply, according to some of my platforms, is Monday mornings
Yeah, I mean,
when
they
they
go
get
home,
back
they
to
go on the
work and they're
weekend, they talk to
miserable.
everybody about how bad their job is, and they go in
Yeah,
Monday morning and
yeah.
do that. So one of
Hmm.
our newest product is skill marketing. And so
Great.
the
Yeah.
the 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 market is changing a little bit now, where there's more
Mhm.
candidates, and
Sure.
3D IQ is from that sales, and it's kind of a game changer with actually taking candidates to the market, not working
Yes.
off of a job, but saying, okay, I've got Susie.
Yep.
Susie works for about 10, I mean, could work for about 10
Hmm.
hospitals. And
Sure.
what we're able to do now is send that person to all 10 in
Yes.
one click.
Yeah, that has been really important. One of the things that we noticed in all of our marketing initiatives and any outreach we do is the responses that we get when we're reaching out to companies that we don't currently work with are on candidates.
Yep.
NPCing is something that's been in our business forever and it's never going to go away. And I think one of the reasons for that is, a lot of times there are positions that can't be advertised. It could be an upgrade in talent. It could be
Yep.
something coming down the line. It could be something they've been thinking about but haven't decided if they need it. So it's very opportunistic when it lines up. So with the 3D IQ skill marketing, I have the ability to professionally present somebody that I know is really good in our space. Now I can do a search in our ATS and find companies that are within the commutable distance she's okay with, especially if it's going to be an on-site role, right? Or maybe it's companies of a certain size that I want to find for her. Or maybe it's of a certain therapeutic area since I work in the life sciences. Maybe she only wants oncology or whatever the case may be. I can do a search in our ATS, and since 3D IQ is embedded in our ATS, we can then go from there and skill market that candidate to the right people at the right time with a matter of a few clicks instead of having to consistently write up new documents, send them out. And honestly, when I have to do it that way, I do a lot less of it.
Yeah.
But 3D IQ has streamlined that to a point where it's very easy to get those rock star candidates out to as many people as, that apply to what they're looking for.
Well, I talk about how we turn our recruiters that run the recruiter desk, and we're turning them into sales reps by saying, hey, give me a tear sheet of your most marketable individuals in manufacturing, and then we can send that list to another tear sheet of managers of manufacturing. And like you said, everybody loves to see top talent. And we blind it up. We're not sending full resumes; we're sending snippets, like little teaser emails. So it's a great way to kind of, in my eyes, put your talent out there. And the market's switching now to where that's going to be better. I mean, that's going to be what we're going to have to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what better way to show a client that you're not trying to waste their time by just telling them what, if they've heard 9 million times, but to actually bring value to their inbox. Actually show them something that could add value to them today. So it's definitely a great tool.
Well, we love that you're one of our best customers, and I love your story. I love talking to you, and I really appreciate you coming on today and just kind of chatting with us.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. My pleasure. I'm always here to help any way I can. You guys have been fantastic. Way you're able to implement things that I need at my desk from 3D IQ and the changes that have happened over the time, it's just been phenomenal. And I absolutely love working with you guys.
Well, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend.
You too, Andy. Take care.